Our next guest is the director of Loyola University's Life After Innocence program. Laura Caldwell started the program after being inspired by a young man, a man she details in her story, the book Long Way Home. A young man lost, and the two women who found him. The book chronicles Jovan Mosley, who was arrested at the age of 19 for a murder he did not commit, and his life after finally being exonerated and released from prison. Laura Caldwell joining us now. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're a lawyer, you're a novelist, a successful fiction writer who stumbled across one of the most powerful stories you had ever heard, and the problem was it wasn't fiction.
Yeah, it was very strange. I was a law professor who wasn't planning on going back to court, and I was a novelist who wasn't planning on writing anything else. But a friend of mine, Catherine O'Daniel, a really amazing defense lawyer, ran into a kid in the Cook County holding cell who said he'd been there for almost 6 years without a trial, and that he'd been coerced into saying he'd been part of a fight when he'd only witnessed it. And they charged him with murder after telling him they wouldn't. They charged him with death penalty murder, and nearly 6 years later, he was still in the county holding cell.
So this is the story of a good kid in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jovan Mosley was really the good kid in a bad neighborhood who kind of managed to stay out of trouble, had no problem with the cops.
He even had a college scholarship.
He was ready to go to Ohio State because he liked football. Yeah. And he really was just walking around with these kids one night who stupidly, senselessly got in a fight, and a man died. I think the cops were doing the right thing in arresting everyone who was there, or at least looking into them, but they wouldn't listen to him when he said, "I did not touch that man."
So you found out about him. Your legal training is in civil litigation,
right?
Not criminal law. So how did you help him reclaim his innocence?
Well, it was strange because I was writing a book called The Rome Affair, and I had a couple that was being in the Belmont police station, and the detectives were trying to force them into confessing to a murder. And I wondered, was that true? And I wanted to, how did that really happen? So I called Catherine O'Daniel for a research question, said, does that ever really happen? Does anyone ever, coercively confess to something they didn't do? She said, it happens all the time, but I'll tell you one story.
You were shocked to hear that, huh?
I was not only shocked to hear it, I also was then shocked to hear that this kid had been in there and for so long, and I thought, well, even if he did it, he at least deserves a defense, because everyone does in our country. So Kathy took on his case pro bono, and eventually I did too.
You raise a number of issues in this book, in the Jovan Mosley case. One of them is forced confessions, and in the Chicago area, I hate to say it, but we see them time and time again, where defendants confess to crimes they just didn't commit. I know a lot of people are thinking, well, how is that? How do people confess to crimes they didn't commit? But, the first two names that come to my mind are Kevin Fox and more recently, Jerry Hobbs.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect. I mean,
how do they get people to do this?
Kevin Smith confesses to killing his daughter when he didn't do it. And what happens
Kevin
is...
Fox.
Kevin Fox. They put, not the director.
Yes,
they put you in a room, and the conditions create nothing but despair. In Jovan's case, he was chained to a wall, no back to lean against, no food, no water, no sleep for 48 hours. By that time, you literally feel like you're going crazy, and if you're innocent, your innocence works against you, because you think, all I need to do is get out of here and I can take care of this, because I know I didn't do it. So at some point, you think, I'll do anything to get out of here, and you sign something.
This led you to set up create the Life After Innocence project. You've said that lives of those who are innocent, the innocent are sometimes worse off after they get out of prison than those who were guilty.
Yeah, after Jovan got out and I realized he needed help starting over. I mean, he didn't have an ID, he didn't have any money, nowhere to stay. And really, they turned him loose onto 26th and Cal. We know what it's like down there at 2 in the morning on a November day with a bus pass and a good luck. And what I found out was that if you've been wrongfully convicted, and then later found that you're innocent, like with DNA evidence. So we know 100% it was never you. You get the same treatment, sort of a pat on the back and a good luck to you. So we started Life After Innocence at Loyola to help these people out.
Illinois has a terrible track record when it comes to wrongful convictions and wrongful incarcerations. It's one of the worst in the nation. What's going on here?
I did not know. Rob Warden from the Center on Wrongful Convictions told me last week. I said, isn't it crazy, Texas, they have the most wrongful convictions. He said, oh, no, it's us. And by us, we say Illinois, but that's pretty much Chicago.
Yeah.
I think the cops work really hard here. I think they have really hard jobs to do. Unfortunately, you know, sometimes people get tunnel vision. Sometimes people get a little too overeager, and they decide it's someone, and they stick with that no matter what.
If you're on a jury, just because they're charged with a crime, just remember it doesn't mean they're guilty. The book is A Long Way Home, a young man lost in the system and the two women who found him. Excellent book.
Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about the book or Loyola's After Innocence program, please check out Laura's website. It's lauracaldwell.com. For a link, just log on to our website, WGNTV.com/midday. Coming up next in the Midday Fix, Sarah from Sarah's Pastries and Candies is here, and then Tom Skilling has your forecast. Also, you might want to join us tomorrow. Grill Master